welcome to the Art of Lifting podcast. Today I am joined again by Ziana. You came on, a couple of months ago now, so I won't make you introduce yourself. If anyone wants to kind of hear your backstory, how you got into powerlifting, kind of your journey so far, they can go back and listen to that. The reason I invited you on today is because you've had a very, very busy couple of months, very successful couple of months. And I really wanted to get you on to chat through how you got on at Worlds, as well as World Games that you've literally just gotten back from. So I think maybe if we just kind of rewind, I don't know how much you can remember. It's probably been a very chaotic few months for you. So last time you came on, I think you were literally about 6 weeks out from Worlds. I remember you were then going to do your last heavy SBD, and it went really well because you posted it. And we talked last time about how you never posted anything. What did you? I looked it up early. What was it, like a 215 triple on squat that day?
Yeah, it was heavy triples. So it's a 215 triple squat. I think 112 bench, and I want to say a 250 deadlift, but I didn't quite look out the third rep. So I think I feel like 2.9.
When you're repping 250, I think that's okay. Obviously, we'll talk through Worlds and your performance and everything, but when you posted that reel, it was obviously your squat and your deadlift have always been phenomenal. Your bench has always been amazing. But your bench has kind of just unlocked a whole new level, right?
I know.
At Worlds, didn't you open on your comp max?
No, so comp max, second attempt was my previous comp max. So I opened, World Games. I'm getting confused. Yeah, Worlds, I opened on my comp max. And then everything from there was obviously a PB.
So my first question for you is, what happened to your bench? Was it a confidence thing, programming changes? Did something just click?
I don't know. I think, as we discussed on the last podcast, where we sit heavier now as an 84, I think I just kind of gained mass in my upper body. My legs have always been fairly muscular, but I do feel, especially kind of probably the last 6 months or so, like a lot more muscular on my upper body. So I think potentially just gaining some muscle mass. And I think, especially what I feel kind of women benching, it just takes a while to kind of get things going, build that muscle base, kind of build the technique. But yeah, I don't know why it's happened or how it's happened, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely no complaints. I think you're right though. Generally when women come into the sport, we tend to be stronger lower body anyway. I think women naturally find it easier to gain muscle in their lower body. Bench is kind of a bit of a slow burner for most women. I'm saying most because I was actually the opposite, but I hated training legs, so that's probably why. But yeah, it's so common. It just takes a while for you to actually build that muscle mass on your upper body. And yeah, it's definitely paying off because your bench is just on an upward trajectory right now. We'll go through Worlds. So Worlds was Germany back in June. You placed second. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did you first question is, how was the cut? I love asking this question. How was the cut? Was the cut quite easy? Was it just routine at this point?
It wasn't easy, but it wasn't unexpectedly difficult, if that makes sense. So week of, I did a gut cut, so 4 days out, a 4-day gut cut. So I think the start of that, I was 87.3, something like that. And over those 4 days, lost 2 kilos. So the morning of comp, I woke up at kind of 85.3, 85.2. This day in Germany was the hottest day that I'd been in Germany. It was like 31, 32 degrees, super, super humid. We were in a hotel in Chemnitz, right on the outskirts of town. So Christian dropped me off into town to use a sauna at a gym. I basically was just doing started off 10-minute rounds and then ended up being just 6 minutes. I couldn't hack anything longer, but just to sweat off that kind of last kilo and a little bit. So I could then just drink and eat a little bit before weighing in. I weighed in at 83.96, so just in by the skin of my teeth. It was rough, but it's kind of what I went through at Nationals last year and Worlds earlier last year, so it wasn't unexpected.
Yeah, and I think when it's that high stake of a meet, it's worth doing, obviously, and it's fine doing it. You just have to accept your fate at a certain point, right? And to be fair,
Yeah.
being able to sit above 87 for 5 days out is a really good benefit anyway. So it's worth doing. So then you made weight a little bit early so you could start drinking a little bit before weigh-in, is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of start the refueling a little earlier. Not heaps, because again, I was just on that cusp, not making weight. But yeah, I just wanted to get a little something back in me because again, it was just so hot that day. Like,
Yeah.
the aircon wasn't really a thing there. It's not
Yeah,
good.
I remember seeing people talk about, especially I think as the week got on, it got hotter and hotter, which obviously is when the heavier lifters are going. And I remember seeing a lot of people affected by that. So yeah, not ideal, but you made it through and you still had a very good performance. So
and everyone is in those same conditions as well, so it's not like it's kind of
100%.
unfair because we're all in that same boat, so you can't complain too much.
100%. It's an even playing field, isn't it? Like obviously some people will be used to that weather more than others and stuff, but you can only control what you can control, right? So
yeah, definitely.
with squats, did they kind of go to plan? You ended up getting 9 for 9 day. Nice. So you hit 220 on your third, a little bit lower than what you'd previously hit. And I mean, a little bit, like what, 5 kilos off your best. So considering the heat, the travel, the cut and everything, like, were you happy with how squats went that day?
Yeah, really happy. It didn't go to plan for the plan, but obviously things change. You have to adapt. I think, again, the cut had been a little bit harsh. I think with how hot it was in that venue, I'm sure you've heard people talk about on Instagram, but it was like a sauna in there as well. They'd stuck a few fans up, but it wasn't doing much because the air was just so hot. So I think kind of after weighing in, I like downed 3 Lucozades in a row because I was still sweating, so I was trying to replenish. And then that was a mistake, by the way. I've realised now. And then like was eating and stuff and just trying to like cool down. But warming up for squats, I felt everything just like right in my throat still. It wasn't feeling good. I felt so bloated. Trying to brace against my belt was horrific. My legs felt like nothing there at all. So my last warm up was 205 and it moved slowly. Will was handling me, Will Brown. I took it and then we looked at each other and it was like, I'm going to drop the opener. And I was like, yes, please. So I think I opened at 207, which from memory was either 10 kilos or 7.5 kilos down from planned opener. But again, you have to adapt on the day, and that was the smart move. Can't remember what second attempt was. I think 215.
Yeah.
And then 215, then 220 from there. 220 was a limit lift that day. Like I didn't have a kilo more there. It's quite funny. Paul Marsh was centre reffing on my session. And for my second and third attempt, I genuinely thought I was going to be spewing up over him. Like everything was just sat right here, bracing. Like
at least it's honestly, a friend, right? At least it's someone you know.
A friendly face. I'm sure he wouldn't have appreciated it, but still, I'd rather throw up on someone I know than a stranger. But yeah, so squats didn't go to plan, but like you said, I had a 9 for 9 day, and I think in a situation like that, just getting every kilo that was there was the priority, and 220 was the limit lift of that day. So yeah, right calls were made, and I stayed in one piece and didn't puke, which I'll take as a win.
See, maybe if you'd have got that 222, you'd have got it, but Paul would have also walked away. I think it's really important there as well, like where you said obviously with the cut and you down those Lucozades, because I think a lot of people, when it comes to recomping and like rehydrating after weighing in, it's like you're in such a rush to rehydrate. If you're then getting under the bar, you're probably going to feel worse than if you maybe just didn't quite have as much. I've done it before as well, like just almost overcompensating for the cut, not letting things settle, or not having time to let things settle. And then it just squats feel awful and like everything feels uncomfortable.
Yeah, lessons learned there. I think because the day before it'd been Sophia, and she'd said how hot it was. So I kind of had that in my mind. And then obviously had been sat in a sauna for quite a while, and then weighed in and was just sweating because it was so hot in the venue. And I just like panicked down Lucozade, and I won't be doing that again. But everything turned out fine.
Yeah, that's the thing. And like you say, you took everything that was there on the day, which is literally the whole point. And It's not the most common thing to be PBing at World, let's be honest. So to walk away 3 for 3, very good, very like successful squat session. And then bench, like we kind of already touched on, your bench has just skyrocketed, which is really cool to see. Opened at 110, which matched your PB from British a few months before.
Yes.
So opening on a PB, how did that feel, especially after maybe not feeling as strong as you were hoping on squats?
Yeah, so I think I'll kind of say that as the session went on, I did start to feel a bit better, kind of things have a little chance to settle. I didn't feel great still, but I think kind of had a chance for the liquid to start to move down a bit. My bench was feeling better. It's more chill anyway, like in a comp kind of, it always feels really intense going from like weighing in, refueling, recomping, warming up for squats. That's always quite intense. And then you get your squats done and then you're like, oh, I can breathe now. So everything was just feeling better by bench anyway. I think in prep, I'd done 115 as my kind of last single. Kind of mentioned last time, but I peak into comp. So comp is like week 4 of my block. So week 3 had been a 115 single. I'd moved pretty well. So yeah, I felt really confident at 110. It kind of, again, I tripled 112. 110 in my mind was kind of an easy given kind of any day lift, which was really cool because again, a year ago that definitely wasn't the case. So yeah, being able to say that now is pretty crazy.
I think that's sometimes the way though. I don't know. I mean, your lifts have kind of looking at open powerlifting always just like been creeping up anyway. But I think especially with bench, because it's like 2.5 at a time, it can almost feel like it's stuck for ages and ages. And then I think if people keep going for long enough, you do just suddenly hit this moment where things do just click. And I don't know if you had this, but it's like I had it with my squats last year where it's like mentally you have to just accept that you're so much stronger than you were. And it's like it freaks you out a little bit. Like I know I had that. And I can imagine with bench, that's probably also there a little bit as well, because it's like 2.5 can make such a difference on bench.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
So you ended up hitting 117 on bench. I'm assuming that was kind of just game plan. Everything went as it should.
Yeah, that was the game plan. The jumps were kind of the game plan. Everything moved well. I probably had a little bit more that day, but again, where squats hadn't gone to plan and I wasn't feeling great, kind of we wanted to make sure that we were again getting 3 for 3, 6 for 6, kind of making those attempts and not being silly.
Yeah, because am I right in thinking from memory, were you fairly comfortable in second, providing you didn't make any kind of errors, weren't you? Yeah, which is a thing is with bench as well. 2.5 jump to the third. It's just the sensible choice, right? It's the common choice that we all see and we all do.
Yeah, exactly.
The most exciting part of the day was deadlifts. So when you were on here last time, you said to me, I'd like the opportunity to go for the world record deadlift, just to load it, just to see. Now you loaded it and you got it. You pulled 269.5. And then Amanda didn't come out and try anything after, which means you are the world record holder in the 84s on the deadlift. How was that whole thing? How did that feel? How was the experience? How was the moment?
Yeah, crazy. I think so. I've been vocal about it coming into it, was that I wanted to go for it. Again, whether I kept it or not or got it or not was a different thing. But that was a goal, was the goal probably. And I think where squats hadn't gone to plan and I wasn't feeling great. And again, once that warm up for Den's belt back on, things felt up to my throat again. It wasn't feeling good. I'd kind of lowered my expectations and thought maybe today's not the day. Maybe kind of we just take what's there and see if I can ship my total PB, maybe 267, something like that. But I think although I wasn't feeling great, the prep is where you've put in that hard work where it almost kind of takes over. And I think first attempt flew, second attempt flew, came off after that and was sat down and Will came up to me and said, do you either want to just kind of PB your total or go for the world record? I said, I don't know when this opportunity will come around again. Like, of course, go for world record. I wasn't confident. Yeah, on another day, I would have been confident and said, yeah, I've got this. But I wasn't confident in how I was feeling on if I was going to get it, but I knew I wanted to try.
Yeah.
From the top of my head in prep, I think I pulled 260 as my week 3 pull. So, so week 1, 240, week 2, 250, week 3, 260. So kind of a 9.5 kilo jump.
Yeah.
Again, the plan was the world record. So the prep had said it was there, but what I felt on the day, I wasn't so sure. But yeah, of course, went for it. It came up. I was really surprised that it came up and that I locked it and that it wasn't a sticky lockout, which is sometimes my issue when things get heavy. So like when I put it down, again, I watched back the videos quite a lot of times. Like I'm just like hands to my face right because I was just so surprised. And then like hugging it. Yeah, it was crazy. Again, the goal, but I wasn't expecting it with how I was feeling on the day. So made it even better because my expectations were not there for it. So yeah, crazy.
Yeah, but I think that goes to show as well, like you kind of said, the prep is where you put the work in. Like obviously there's always going to be stuff on the day out of your control, but you had a really good prep leading into it and it did all come together. I guess it's just ignoring what's happened so far and how you felt and just trusting that your body could do it. And you had nothing to lose, right? You might as well load it and go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, second was secure. Wasn't catching Amanda, so it was again, why not? I may never get that chance again to go for a record, so you got to grab it.
Did you think Amanda was going to go for it after, or did you know she probably wasn't going to go out, or were you not really paying attention?
I wasn't sure. I hadn't seen her second attempt, so I didn't know how that moved. I watched the stream back because I always do, just to see, hear the commentators, see all of that. I think her second attempt was stickier than mine. She can grind out a deadlift though, so who knows? Again, as she said to me like after, why should she push it up? Like why would she when Sheffield's around the corner and she can bag 5k if she breaks it there? Which I would absolutely understand. So I don't know if she would have had it or not, but she didn't need to. She'd won.
Watching it as a fan, I don't think she probably had it. And I do think your top end was higher on the day, but obviously you did pull first. Then it's that thing of you might have had an extra couple of kilos. She might have had 270. You don't really know. But you walked away with the record and a total PB, 607 total. So back in November, obviously we spoke on the last podcast, you were the first woman in GB to break into 600 Classic. Now you're just chipping your way up, 607 at Worlds. Obviously, good day. I'm assuming you were happy with how the day unfolded. I'm sure there's nothing there to be unhappy about.
No, exactly. No, I think I'd be a bit of a grumpy bitch if I was trying to find something unhappy about there because it was a great day.
Agreed. So then you had a fairly quick turnaround, just over 2 months into World Games. So were you immediately back into training? Did you have a few days or a week off just to chill before getting back into it?
So after I landed back in England on the Monday and then was back in the gym on Thursday, which is pretty standard. But I think kind of when we were in China speaking to the team, we all found it rough that time around. I think where it's not an eight week turnaround, you kind of ease yourself back in, kind of try maybe some new movements, come in at a lower intensity. But I came back in at quite a high intensity. Kind of the few days straight afterwards, I was feeling good, like barely any soreness. Like I felt fresh. I was walking about being like, I can hop straight back in, it'll be fine. That's what I said to my coach. But kind of once we were back in at that higher intensity, just the fatigue was insane. I've never felt anything like it. I was just like pushing through each session. My legs were like not there. Everything but bench felt horrific. So squat, deadlift, accessories, all felt awful. So basically, the 7 weeks and the last week before I flew out, things were fine again. So I was like,
that's fine then.
Yeah.
I think things never obviously feel amazing straight after comp, but like you kind of said, you'd normally go in a little bit lower intensity, kind of trying new things, basically like a bit of a mental break as well. But because of the short turnaround, it's literally just straight back into prep. Like I'm sure you started off somewhat light and comfortable, but mentally you didn't get that switch off time either, which will make a big difference to your recovery too.
Yeah, definitely found that. This was the hardest prep I've ever done, I think. Couple of kind of busy period at work, other stuff going on. And I was going to the gym and not wanting to train, which isn't what's me like. I love training. I love kind of just getting in and putting in a few hours hard graft and like working hard, but it was just not there at all.
Yeah.
I was just going through the motions for quite a lot of it, which were quite difficult.
Yeah.
Not really had to experience that before, but I think good to experience. It kind of just adds to the different circumstances that you might come across as a powerlifter.
Yeah, 100%. I think like you've proved to yourself that you can push through that as well. And obviously, I mean, you didn't really have a choice but to push through it because you had the World Games coming up, and I'm sure that's
I
something
was
you did
questioning
not
at
want
some
to
points. I was
miss.
questioning it. No, exactly. But why
So
am I doing this?
one thing you didn't have to worry about this time, as we briefly talked about last time, was body weight. So you got to eat into the comp, no cut. You competed in the super heavies, which is 84 and 84 plus combined. So you could literally sit anywhere within that bracket. So looking at open powerlifting, you weighed in at 88.6. Were you kind of, how long before comp did you arrive in China?
So we all arrived on the Sunday, and then I competed on the Friday. So yeah, had like 5 days to kind of chill out,
Yeah.
adjust to the jet lag, and yeah, eat and go for little walks, bouts and everything. So yeah, quite a nice amount of time. I think my first bout in South Africa was a similar flight, but no time change. Yeah, obviously you went to Sun City as
Yeah.
well. Maybe there was an hour's time difference.
I think it's an
but
hour. They're like an hour ahead, I think.
yeah, so like really minimal. But this was an 11-hour flight plus 7-hour time difference, which I've not had to experience before. So yeah, just had quite a few days just to kind of get adjusted to all of that.
I bet it was nice as well that when you got there, you didn't have to think about, obviously, you have to think about what you were eating to an extent. You don't want to eat anything that's going to cause any problems, but you didn't
Exactly.
have to worry about gut cutting, finding foods that you could have that were like calorie dense, anything like that. You could just eat and enjoy.
Yeah.
What was the food like? You had all the food was included for the athletes in the village, right?
Yeah, so there was there are actually two athlete villages because Chengdu is a massive city. I'm not sure about the actual size in terms of kilometers, but it's 20 million people, so it is huge. And all the different venues were like dotted around. So there were two athlete villages, basically like either end of the city. Our one, and it was like sports. So we had kickboxing, softball, archery, other sports as well. But there was like a big dining hall where they had just like huge buffet selection for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like lots of Chinese food, which I loved, was delicious, but then some kind of more continental European things as well. Of the team, so the six of us, five of us didn't have to make weight. It was only Durans that was kind of having to be careful. So yeah,
That sucked for him.
yeah, I think so. We were saying at least it was that way because I feel if it had been flipped and say five of us had to make weight, we would just all been miserable. Like it must have been really difficult. I felt for him quite a bit because figuring things out, was quite difficult. But yeah, in the dining hall there was loads of selection, like rice, meat, veggies, like fried things. So yeah, all good. It's really good as well. On each like food item, it had a card with the macro information. So
that's really good.
Although I wasn't really paying much attention, but like if people did want to make sure they're getting a certain amount of protein or carbs or anything, then they could kind of judge it off of that, which is really thoughtful. Like,
that's thoughtful. Really good for people having to make weight as well. Like that will be, or even people that are just close to the limit. Like it's just one massive thing they don't have to stress about, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as well. Tristan found this, but like making sure that you're eating enough because it's quite difficult when you're not in your normal routine. So for me, on like a work day at home, if I don't eat breakfast by 10, I'm starving. But like when I'm out of routine, I can go till like half 11, 12 and be like, oh shit, I'm not eating breakfast yet.
Yeah.
So I think we found almost we weren't quite eating enough just because we were out of routine. So yeah, handy as well just to make sure that you're getting enough food in.
Were you exploring a lot those first few days as well, just like the surrounding area and everything?
A little bit, not heaps to be honest. I think just where like tiredness of the journey, and then a little bit of jet lag, getting off last sessions in, all of that kind of took priority. It was hard because the experience was absolutely insane, but you have to remind yourself that you're here ultimately for the competition. So kind of did little bits, but then after got to kind of explore it and just chill for the last few days.
Yeah. What was your reaction when you guys saw the training hall?
Crazy, yeah. So we literally, I hadn't heard anything about the size or amount of kit. So on the day where they'd open the hall for us to train, like we got the bus over, it's about a 20-minute bus journey, had to go through security in the venue. It was, yeah, so I taught for machine, like got patted down, got scanned down. Our bags went through like the thing they've got at airports. If you had liquid in a bottle, you had to take a sip to prove that it wasn't anything naughty, I suppose. So yeah, that was crazy. And then back on the bus and they dropped you there. And then, yeah, we walked around and it is like a powerlifter's dream.
Yeah.
26 Alico racks, I think over 400 kilos worth of plates on each platform, brand new. I was saying I've never lifted on a brand new platform before because, say, at comps where they do get a new platform, because I'm an under 84, by the end of the week, it's been peed on, it's been puked on, people have been dropping the deadlifts on it. Like, it is, yeah, it's not pretty. So to be lifting on literally brand new kit was incredible. I think £500,000 worth of kit they'd spent just in the warm-up room, which is insane. Like, yeah, absolutely insane. And it was all Alico, all comp standard, the new bench pad, like, it was lovely. So nice.
I would love to know where all of that kit is right now.
Yeah.
Where did this go after they'd used it all?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember where I heard this, and I don't know how accurate it is, but I heard that like the local government had paid for it, so I think it's going out to like schools and powerlifting clubs and other bits around the region.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, if that is true, that is really cool.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
We'll allow it,
like in storage somewhere.
yeah. So really I think
cool.
I hope that's the case because that was really cool.
So we'll kind of run through the day. I mean, you had a really good day anyway. Another 9 for 9 day. Do you want to talk through squats? So you didn't have to cut weight. So I'm assuming they felt considerably better than Wells.
They did. Yeah, I think, well, it was weird. So my expectations coming in for squats and deads were, well, I was coming into the comp thinking, if I can about match my total PB, I'd be happy. Yeah. I knew with bench that we were going to be up. So I thought, if I'm a bit down on squats, then I've got bench to kind of cover that. So if I can do out 607, I'd be happy. Just where that fatigue from prep had just hampered the training. Despite me not having to cut, I was still kind of not sure where my legs would be. So yeah, with squats, my last session felt really good. So I was like, maybe things will be okay. And then warming up, everything felt great. We kind of followed actually we were above the attempt selection that me and kind of Sam had discussed, just from where things had been feeling better and better. So yeah, took 220 as my second, 207 as my first attempt. That felt great. 220 as my second attempt. That felt great. Came off, and then Peach was like 5k jump or 7.5k jump. And I think, like you were saying earlier, where it's almost your head that holds you back.
Yeah. Because
225, somehow I was feeling like that was absolute best scenario, 225. So I wasn't expecting to be looking beyond that. So I was like, 225, like 5k, would let's leave it there. Which I think I definitely had more in me, but I'm not bothered about that. I'm happy that 225 moved the way it did, and that I know that I've got a few kilos in the tank for the end of the year. Because that was not where my expectations were. So I'd take it. Yeah.
It sounds as well like you really have a good approach, like mentally, to comps as well. Like, obviously this was the first ever Classic World Games anyway, so, and it's called on GL, so you never really know exactly where you're going to place and stuff anyway. And you had some crazy people in your class from the 84 plus anyway. But you said you were just kind of hoping to at least match your best total, which in some ways probably wasn't the best attitude, because you obviously on the day were stronger than you expected, but equally it means you're going to be happy regardless. And obviously your prep, you said, didn't feel the best, but you still came in and squatted 225 with room. And like you said, because you're kind of going back into another prep now anyway, so you didn't need to go crazy and all out. And 225 is such a huge squat anyway. To do that with room is very cool.
Yeah, another thing I'll add quickly as well. A few days before the comp, I can't remember the Instagram account. It's the grind.ac account. It's the French account.
Yeah.
They were doing like over the course of the intro to World Games, like top 5 lifters in each weight class, male and female. And for the super heavies, I was coming in fifth with my GL points from Worlds, which was at obviously 83.96. So, and then Jewel and Natalie were above me on GL. And in my head, I was thinking, as I knew I wasn't making weight, over 4 kilos heavier, and as I knew that they would probably be at a similar weight to when they got that GL, because they're not capped at all. They might be a little bit heavier, maybe if they gain some muscle, but I kind of wasn't. I knew I wasn't really in a position to chase. I just kind of wanted to try and get as many kilos as I could for me and my total, and have fun with it. So yeah.
Yeah. You said obviously you were expecting a bench PB. You've got another bench PB. You've added 12.5 kilos to your bench since British. You benched 122.5. That's insane.
Yeah, that wasn't in the plan at all. So 120 was like best case scenario. Opened at 112, which felt great. 117 felt great. And then Keej came up to me, and like after my second attempt bench, we actually said, is 120 like a hard cap? And having learnt my lesson from squats, I was like, no, if you think more's there, stick more on. Like, I'm happy to go with your call, because clearly I don't know. I don't know enough from just how it feels. I need to see it back. Stuck another 5 on, and I also think I had more there. Should I have needed it? Again, it wasn't a thing where we were necessarily like chasing anything too hard, so didn't need to push it. But again, like crazy, 122. Yeah, I'm not a bencher, but
you are now.
I am now. Oh no.
You'll be coming for Melina's British record next.
Oh no, she can keep it.
She always makes it look so easy, to be fair. I wonder what she's actually got left every time.
Yeah, because I'm not sure what it. I'm not sure what
it's like
her record is.
131-ish.
Yeah, but like I remember it moved easy. Like she could have added at least another 5 when she did that.
I guess we'll see in December.
Yeah, December.
So deadlifts, you obviously weren't in the under 84s, so you couldn't extend your record, but you did still pull a PB of 270.
Yeah.
How was that? How did deadlifts feel that day?
Yeah, good. Again, broken record, but where my expectations were lower, I was thinking, 265 maybe would be nice. I didn't think I was at the form of my kind of world performance. But we ended up matching almost exactly the jumps from world. So open 240, 255. When I watched back the World Games, and I felt it at the time as well, but the 255 was so quick at lockout. I almost I'd like a little side wobble, which I've never had before. But it felt amazing. So, again, kind of coming off of that, where I was feeling good. I was surprised about how good I was feeling. He said, stick another 15 on and get to 270, which kind of, I think the lift as a whole at 270 was easier than my 269.5. The lockout, I think, was a little bit stickier, but it was 2-1, like 2 white lights. I was kind of keeping an eye on because the jury had been making some moves in that session, so didn't fully celebrate until we were back and they'd moved on to the next lifter and it was kind of not overturned. But I was really happy because it wasn't, again, what I was expecting coming into that comp.
Yeah, which resulted in a 10 kilo total PB, 10.5 kilo total PB. Yeah. So you are comfortably in the 600s at this point. So that was 617.5. And like you said, you kind of just hoping to match your best total?
Yeah. I think, again, like any 600 to 607 was what I was thinking, where my head was at. Which shows that, again, sometimes your head is what limits you rather than your physical thing. And that's where it's helpful when you've got people around you to say, you've got this in you. And it's just trusting them and kind of, believing in them if you don't necessarily believe in yourself. But I was really happy. Obviously, it's a weird one because it is a big total PB, but mentally, where I hadn't made weight and I was again over 4 kilos heavier, it's not kind of certified in my head. Nationals at the end of the year will do that, I think. If I'm in around that, maybe a little bit more by then. But I think it shows that we're heading in the right direction. And I had so much fun. Like, it was such a fun comp. Really nice lifting with the 84 plus girls. Again, that doesn't normally happen. They're all so lovely, like so sweet. After each lift was coming off, and like Smeeta was either giving me a fist bump or like saying well done. Natalie was there, like smiling. Britt was there, like it was just they're so lovely, so welcoming, and it's really nice vibes.
Yeah, I bet it was such a cool experience getting to live with them all. Like, obviously, like in the 84s, there's some huge names, especially like Wild this year. Like Jess had moved up. There's some huge names in the class anyway. To then now have the experience of competing with these big names from the 84 plus as well. Who, like you said, I mean, obviously I've not met them, but just from online, like they seem like the nicest group of people ever anyway. To then get to compete with them must be such a good feeling.
Yeah, 100%. And like, it was such a good session. Like Sunita attempted 325 twice. Natalie went for 300 deadlift, like crazy numbers, like history making numbers. So to be in and around that was insane.
So how was as a whole, obviously we've kind of gone through it and you've only said positive things, so I'm guessing it's going to be a positive answer. How was the World Games experience as a whole?
Yeah, incredible. I'm so glad that I didn't throw in the towel when things were feeling rough with prep. I think just as an experience, as a powerlifter, it's the closest to the Olympics that we're going to get, at least probably in my lifting career time. I know World Games is kind of the pathway for sports maybe making it through to the Olympics, but if powerlifting does, I think it won't be for a while. The way that we were looked after as athletes was incredible. Even getting to Heathrow, when I was checking in, we all wore our like Team GB tracksuits, and the woman saw that and then whipped out a special World Games tag and priority for our baggage. So we knew that our bags would be, I guess, put on last, they were first out or something.
Yeah.
But and that was in Heathrow. And then when we landed in China, as soon as you kind of come through, there's signs about the World Games, a World Games security line, so like fast track security. When you're out at your baggage, there's World Games volunteers who are there helping you like find your stuff and figuring out where to go for the bus or the taxi. Again, once you're there, like so much food, water, soft drinks, ice creams. Everyone was so helpful. Yeah, it was incredible. I think we didn't know, but kin swapping was a really big thing there.
I think Carlina posted about it before, didn't she, a few weeks ago? I remember seeing that and I was like, I've never seen this before.
No, I hadn't either. I think it's quite a big thing at the Olympics, so maybe she picked up on it. But I wish I'd paid more attention beforehand, because like everyone was wanting to swap pins and such. And when you say like, oh, sorry, I don't have any PP ones, like they'd be like, oh, and like the volunteers they actually just ended up giving me a few really nice pins, which was so kind. But just like the whole experience was crazy. And I think it being in China made it even crazier because as a culture, it's just so different. I'm not sure I would have had China on my list of places to visit just because I don't know much about it really. But I think after this, I'll definitely go back to other parts to experience the culture. And it's just crazy. Like, so glad that it happened at this time when I'm around. Yeah.
It's the closest thing to I know it was self-funded to get there and everything, but essentially it's being a professional athlete, or the closest thing we're going to get in powerlifting, like you say, at least for a long time if it does end up in the Olympics. But obviously there's Sheffield and stuff as well where you're, it's a different type of experience. But to go out there, mix in with all the other sports, have an athlete village to stay at, even at the airport, getting special treatment and stuff, like that's so cool. And it is like I say once in a lifetime thing. Like there's a good chance you'll go again next time if you're still competing, but potentially once in a lifetime opportunity there as well.
Yeah, and that experience was a once in a lifetime because the next World Games is in Germany, which I'm sure will be amazing. But I just think something about it being in China made it so special. It was really interesting because on the day one of the powerlifting, a few archery guys had come to the venue to watch, they're British, so we were on like RG box and came and sat with us. And one of them had actually been to the Olympics, I think, been to Rio and Tokyo for archery. So we were asking how it compared to the World Games, and obviously it's different, but the World Games has a lot of funding from the IOC, but also the Chinese government. So yeah, they just put so much into looking after the athletes, the coaches, making the experience like insane. We unfortunately didn't arrive. We arrived after the opening ceremony, but we're there for the closing ceremony, which was incredible. Yeah, it was just so special. I think it'll be something that I look back on like fondly for years and years, and probably is the pinnacle of my powerlifting career. Yeah.
100%. It's such an insane thing, and like the fact that you all traveled out there together as well, I think obviously made it that much nicer as well. Obviously you've all competed as a team enough times now as well. Like I'm sure that made the experience even more amazing.
Yeah, I think it was nice as well because we were saying how with Worlds where it's spread out through a week.
Yeah.
Say Joy and Bobby, they're always near the start of the week, so they'll get there again like a few days earlier, and then they maybe leave a few days after. So I don't normally see them that much. Maybe just a day or two we kind of overlap because again at the end of the week I arrive a little bit later. So we were saying it was nice that we were kind of as a team the whole time.
Yeah.
It made it feel really special, and I think kind of other countries did that as well. The Canadians were really tight knit. I think the Swedish guys as well. But yeah, it made it really special, and I think just like felt we were a team. Powerlifting's an individual sport, but for this, it did feel like we were all in it together and figuring things out together, and yeah, all of that.
No, that's so amazing. And then you flew back. Did you fly back at the weekend, or did you fly back last week?
Last week, yeah. I got home late Monday last week, so I've been back
had a few days to enjoy.
Yeah. Went out for food and walks. So watched the closing ceremony.
You had a week off training, and I believe today was your first session back.
Yeah, it's the longest I've left from comp to getting back training again, which was needed. I think mentally, I felt myself in this prep on the cusp of burnout, of physical burnout, but I was quite aware that if I was to keep on pushing, that would just lead to mental burnout as well, which I don't want because I've got goals for the end of this year, goals for next year, and I've got to kind of be mentally in it for that. So I knew that I needed kind of a nice break, just chilled out, like hang out with friends, family, celebrated, enjoyed the summer. And it was at the stage where I was then wanting to get back to training, which hasn't, again, when you're training just a few days after comp, it's like, oh, like, I don't want to, but I've got to. But for this, I wanted to get back in the gym and kind of get moving again and get working.
Which shows you did the right thing. Like, say you weren't really enjoying training that much into World Games. Like, you needed that time, like a week and a half off in the end. Like, I think that. And then to be excited to go train again as well, because you have got another comp coming up. I think we're 15 weeks out, which is still a decent amount of time, of course. But at the same time, those weeks are going to tick by quickly. So at least it kind of gave you the joy back to start with, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, we're not, it's like, 3 and a bit blocks or something, which really isn't that long, but is long enough. Again, we're kind of going to do some non-specific things, play about with some different, brain fog in the word, variations.
Yes,
that's it. Different variations, and again, just kind of get back the joy for a little bit. The pressure's off now. I've got some time just to find my feet and hopefully not get too heavy because I don't want a difficult cut for British.
I'll be right there with you.
Yeah, we need to like liaise and get a sauna that's close by to the anything.
I think we're gonna have to. I've been sitting around 87 and trying to maintain that, and then we're gonna cut down hopefully to like 85, 86. So I should be pretty comfortable. But I weighed myself this morning, and it is just because I had a Greek takeaway and then the leftovers yesterday, and I was 89.8, and I literally just stood on the scales and I was like,
Not
I knew
again.
I was like, this was not meant to happen just from like one takeaway. But I do
Yeah,
retain a lot. Like it doesn't take much for me to suddenly just shoot up. And I just thought, well, at least I've got 15 weeks, I guess, to solve
yeah,
this.
yeah. But at least you know that. So again,
Yeah,
it's not like a panic all stations thing because
yeah.
you're not going to gain 2 kilos overnight, are you? It's not
I'm
not of
actually
fat
quite
anyway.
impressed that I did. But yeah, it'll fall off within 2 days. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So how are you feeling then? Are you obviously said you kind of were looking forward to getting back in the gym? You just done your first session back. Are you feeling quite excited for the British? I feel like don't want to jinx it. You're pretty comfortable in the lead at British. So you can kind of just have fun and enjoy it as well. It's an expo this year as well, which will be a bit different.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Well, I don't know because I think Ariel is competing sometime soon. So I don't know if she's going to be getting like getting a
Yeah,
qualifying total to then put forward for British. Obviously, it's been a while since we've seen her, so got no clue where her strengths are. I think that's quite fun in a way, kind of the not
she'll
knowing.
come in and total
See her toes.
700.
Yeah. Yeah, I better get training.
Yeah,
Pressure's on. But yeah, that's cool because
yeah,
I kind of she's going to be this unknown thing. It'd be nice to have her back.
yeah,
And see kind of hopefully she's healthy again and see where she can be because again before she injured herself we were neck and neck, so if she's been able to kind of get some good training under her and get back, that would be cool. But yeah, I don't know how it's going to be at the NEC with the expo. I guess we'll have to see. It'll be, I think, different. Whether that's good or bad, it's hard to say. Only one way to find out, but I think hopefully we get kind of a good crowd going and people kind of watching and cheering on. We were saying, like in China, we were talking about it and hoping at least, or I don't know, I guess your opinion as well, but whether it's going to be like tiered seating down on us or maybe like a stage that we're up a bit higher and the crowd are just stood, I think would be cool, just so it's not all flat because I think they were saying at the last year's one, it was all just flat and kind of not great for either party. So I have to see how it is.
Hopefully I think a stage will be good, if not tiered seating, but I guess it depends how much room we have within the NEC specifically for the powerlifting section. But I'm excited to see what it's like. It'll be something different. I am very kind of, I don't focus a lot on comp day. I like to just kind of be laid back and have fun and just talk to people. So I do think being at an expo is going to be like overstimulation central for me, but it'll be fine. I'll make it work. And then I think it's going to be fun. It's something different. And I kind of like that none of us really know what to expect because I just think it's going to make it more fun. We are also probably the end of the weekend, so we'll know what to expect by the time we
exactly.
And I'm glad you mentioned Ella as well, because I saw that she's competing soon. And I mean, she's not been posting her lifts really. So I'm very excited to see what she does. And hopefully, she's healthy back. Because the thing is, even if she's just retained what she had before, always within like even 10% of where she was before, if she's healthy, she's so young, isn't she? Like, give her time and she'll be back up there and we'll have more battles to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Because like Croatia, I think it was 583 both totaled. So that was a year and a half ago. And again, although she has been injured, if she's been able to like do accessory movements and other bits, you can still build strength in that time. So it is a bit of an unknown. So just have to keep an eye out and see how she does. But again, like the more girls, the better. I think I had a little look at the sheet, and it looks like it's already pretty full.
I think we have got a full. Obviously, not everyone will necessarily take their invites, but we're in the overflow and like we're full on the list. So I think we're going to have full class again, which is what I'm literally begging every 8 to apply. Like every single one, I'm like, please come. Especially like if Ella does come back and she's healthy, like that knocks my chances of a podium down. But there's still such a big group of us that are so close together. Like it's just going to be so fun to battle. And we have a lot of really talented 84s, and I just don't. We spoke about this last time, but I don't think we get the eyes that we deserve. And I think it'd be really cool if everyone just shows up and we can just kind of put on a show at the expo, especially like if Ella as well. Like, people are going to want to see what you do, what Airlove does, Melina. It's going to be so good.
And even like you said, kind of the battle's further down, because there could be quite a few women who are totaling over 500 come December.
If I'm not one of them, I quit.
I'm sure. Well, yeah, I'm without a doubt. Because what's your PB? Is it 490?
495. But my individual lifts add up to 502 on open powerlifting. I just can't put them together.
Got it.
But no, there's a lot of us teetering in the 490s, like close to 500, and we have been for a while. So yeah, I think multiple of us totaling in the 500 would be such a cool thing to see.
Like top 6, top 7, top 8, maybe all in 500, which is incredible. I remember my first nationals, 2021 in Oldham. I can't remember what won it. Maybe like 480, something like that.
Yeah.
And this is 4 years later, and top 8 could be over 500. Like, that's insane.
It's come along so quickly. Like, and the 84s are just growing at a really good rate. And I think it comes, again, I think we spoke about this a little bit on the last one, but I think it just comes with more women accepting that that's where they sit, and then sitting like around, even like anywhere up to like 90 kilos, like you do kind of fit in the 84s. And obviously there's no point cutting if you don't have to, kind of thing. Like, but I think a lot more of us are willing to be in the 84s now, where I think before people would either think they had to cut down to 76, or like they didn't have a space in the sport, they wouldn't want to compete in the 84 plus, where I think more and more 84s are kind of sitting there. More 76s have bulked up to the 84s now as well. And it's exciting.
I think because it's competitive. Like, I think we are one of the most competitive classes in GB. So yeah, I guess people want to get in on that and have some fun. But yeah, 100%. I'm looking forward to it. I think I've got some goals in my head. Again, I've got to do the work to try and make that happen. But just for the experience, again, it's another kind of nationals, different experience to tick off. Last year was, again, kind of huge in terms of the volume of people. This won't be as big in terms of lifters, but I think we'll still be good in other ways.
Yeah, 100%. It'd just be, I think last year it was everyone wanted to be there in case they didn't qualify this year. And I think there was over 20 84s, which is unheard of. Normally there's like 6 of us. So that alone was great. And then this year we've got 14 people, more than 14 people wanting to do it. So we should have quite comfortably a full flight of 84s, which would be really fun. And means longer rest breaks, which is also nice.
Yeah, so nice. So nice. I think, luckily for me at World Games, there were 8 of us in the flight. So rest breaks were fine, but I don't know how the lighter classes did it. I think Duran's was a 5-man flight. I was about
to say one of them was 5,
horrific.
Wasn't it? And there were a lot of 6. Like, very quick turnaround.
Yeah, if we're, I don't know, like 7 and 7, or I don't know how they're going to do it, but it should be a manageable. I don't need loads of rest, but I need to at least.
I think 8 to 10 is like a nice spot. I think like 8 to 10, enough time to actually sit down for at least like 3-4 minutes and just breathe before I have to focus on what I'm doing again.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. I don't think I've got any more questions for you. That was a very good recap. I'm very excited. It was great to watch you at both. Very excited to see where you take that deadlift record in the future. And have you got anything else coming up you wanted to mention, shout out, or anything?
No, I've just got one quick other question. Sorry, I just watched into my head. What did you think of watching the stream for the World Games? Because I've been hearing various comments on it. So I'm curious to know what you think about that.
I liked it. I think camera angles were very Olympic weightlifting-esque with the above head and stuff, but that's such a minor thing. No, I liked it. I think the commentators, one of them seemed to know a decent amount, but I think he was more equipped. And then one of them, I don't think knew so much about powerlifting, but I think it was an okay balance. It was obviously different to World or Sheffield, where you have like Ryan from King of the Lifts, who is just like so passionate about it. He knows all the lifters, like he brings a different level of energy. But I think for what the World Games is, more of like an Olympic style stream, I think it was really good. I think it gave you enough info, and I think it was easy enough to follow as well. Like they had the scores and stuff on there. And I thought it was fine. I think it was better than I expected it to be. You couldn't rewind on the actual World Games one because I didn't realize it started at 6:30 in the morning. I also wasn't going to get up at 6 a.m. in the morning to watch it. So I tried to rewind on the first day to watch the squats of the first session because I was like awake in time for bench, and I couldn't. And then I found out on the IPF website you could scroll back. So other than that, but no, I thought it was fine. I think it was just the camera angles and like the replays that weren't the best, and potentially different commentators would have been more exciting. But I think they explained it enough, and yeah, I think it was good.
Yeah, I had a little watch back just to see my lifts and how they moved, and because I'd been hearing a bit of people like online saying how the commentators weren't that good, but I thought, again, when you watch a powerlifting comp, say Worlds, most people that watch that stream are watching for the lifters, like they know powerlifting. But I guess again, in general sports, you're kind of not just doing it to the actual fans of the sport, you're trying to catch that wider audience. So I thought some of the things I was saying was quite interesting because it was almost so simple. Say Ryan or Joe would never say that because they'd take it as a given that people know that information. But the commentators, I think it's just professional commentators that they place on different sports to commentate. So yeah, I don't necessarily know the sport that in depth. But yeah, we're kind of making little comments and observations that we maybe just forget about because we know the sport so well.
I think it was good as well. Like they made an effort to let you know people's PBs if they were going for personal bests and stuff, which I think Ryan and Joe often do that, and like Amelia often do that, but they don't always. But again, the people watching Worlds and those streams generally know, like they'll know that Sunita's gone for like 325 or whatever it was at Sheffield and stuff before. They'll know that like it's the biggest squat by a female and things like that, where I think on that stream they needed to keep it more simple and just to like remind people of like the basic bits, because the whole point of being at the World Games, I think a big part of it is to open other people's eyes to the sport and get other people watching, right? Definitely. So I think the stream was good. I don't think there was tons they could have improved on. Like I say, I think other than maybe the camera angles, I quite enjoyed it. It was good enough to watch. It wasn't supposed to be this like Sheffield-esque super exciting meet, was it? It was World Games. Like it was more of a, I don't even know the right word, just more of a professional, like Olympic weightlifting-esque vibe, wasn't it? Like that was the point of it. So
like I was showcasing powerlifting to the wider world, and I think it did a good job personally. Again, some of those angles was not a fan of for my own ego, but that's okay. We move. But like after each lift, that like slow-mo zoomed in shot, I was like, no, the veins.
Some of them were really cool. Some of them I was like, I wouldn't want to be that person right now.
Yeah, I didn't like any of mine, so we move.
But yeah, I think it's good that we have a balance as well. Like we have that side of competing with the World Games with the more like professional kind of clean cut competitions, and then we have the super exciting Sheffield. We have Worlds is becoming like a mix between the two, but a good balance between the two. I think we need the different types of comps in that, because like Sheffield isn't going to get us to the Olympics. Sheffield is its own spectacle. It's exciting. It's literally like a night out for people to go and watch and scream and drink and whatever else they want to do, where like World Games isn't that. World Games is more of like a sensible powerlifting showcase, like a completely different end of the spectrum.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. And I think, everything has its place and is important and good for the sport, in terms of bringing as many eyes to it as possible. You need Sheffield for the excitement and the money and the pressure and the huge names. I think the World Games did a really good job at kind of showing how professionalized powerlifting could be. Yeah. Should it get the chance to get to a higher stage?
Yeah. I'm also just gonna, what is 95% of the world record for 84s now?
I think so. The plan for Worlds, if squats had gone to plan, I think 617 would have been 95%. Yeah.
So you never know. You never know. We're not gonna throw anything out there.
No.
But that deadlift keeps going well. Nice little 5
and that
grand.
Bench, I'm a bencher now, so yeah, that would be nice.
It would be nice. Very nice. But no, it's cool. It's so good to see a GB lifter as well. Like, I know, like, everyone keeps saying, like, Agatha coming up to beat Amanda and whatever else. And, like, yeah, there is still a gap between you and Amanda, but equally, like, you're progressing really well. And you don't seem like someone that's just in it for the short term either. Like, you enjoy training, you enjoy competing, you're just kind of running your own race. And I think you're a really good example of how that is how you get successful in the sport, right? Like, you just focus on what you can do your own thing, find enjoyment in doing it, and then the results come with time.
Yeah, definitely. I think even like the S word isn't something that's necessarily like I'm thinking about, or I don't even know how I'd feel if I were to qualify in any year. But yeah, I just want to get stronger, get a bigger total. If that means certain things later down the line, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, number one goal is just to get stronger and lift bigger weights.
Yeah. And I think that is a nice little message to end on. Yeah, was there anything else you want to chat through before we wrap it up?
No, I think that's all for me. Thanks for having me back.